Hey there, Michael Griffiths here, founder of Referral Marketing Guru. Hope you're doing fantastic, having a great week so far. Welcome to the weekend. Thought I'd just quickly jump on, about to head off and go for a run, but been playing with something the last few days and wanted to jump on and share something which I think we just stuff up, to be quite honest. Like when I think about, you hear non-stop. I was on my socials earlier and it's like funnel this, webinar this, Facebook ads this, SEO this, do cold calling, do social chats, do social post. Like the list just goes on and on and on. And every man and his dog has an opinion. So who do you listen to? What do you do? Does it even matter? What I mean, yes, it matters, but it doesn't matter until you have this right first. See, people starting off in business, and even people who have been in business for a while, get caught up with what's the channel? What channel should I be using? Where in fact, there's this whole section you've got to have right first before any of the channels are going to work. Like when I think about like 11 years in business, and even if I just take this business, it's constantly evolving to the foundations. So I want to share something with you right here and get you just thinking about what should you focus on. You don't need a funnel. You don't need an evergreen webinar. You don't need Facebook ads. You don't need referrals. What you need is to get this spot on. When you get this right, everything else becomes so much easier for the reasons you're about to see. So let's jump over to the workbench and let me bring up this. So I mean, there's sort of three big areas. It starts off with your foundations. Like if you don't have your foundations right, nothing else can work. And I'm going to come into a key area of the foundations that you've got to think about. Once you've got foundations right, then now you can be positioned for growth. See, most people start here at the growth phase and they go, great, let me go to networking events. Let me run Facebook ads. Let me do SEO. Let me do pay-per-click. Let me do radio, TV, billboards, whatever it happens to be. But the majority of the time, we can't get that part right because we haven't got the foundations right. And then the third part, very few people come into or think about. And it's about legacy. It's about then what happens after you grow. See, there's this really simple thing in human beings. You can have $1 billion. But if you're not growing internally, like if you don't have a purpose or a drive in life, you're going to die. Like shrivel up and die inside. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to have the most money, the most best clients, but internally, if you're not having your own purpose and there's a reason why you're getting up all the time, that's what legacy is. So in this little business world, entrepreneur world, there's three really key aspects. You've got to have your foundations right. Then you can get into growth. And then you focus on legacy. And to me, that's what continuous transition is all about. Okay? So rather than just going, where's my next client? Or what channel do I need to use to grow my business? Like that might be where you're at now, but the thinking needs to be so much bigger. So there's this thing within foundations that we talk about, and it's simply around what value do you actually add to someone's world? Because unless you're adding value to someone's world, they can't pay you or be a client. And quite often, we forget just simply that it comes down to this. If you can't help solve someone's problem and add value to their world, then they've got no way of being a client of yours. So rather than going, I do this or I do that, start changing the question and start changing the question to, how do I add value? What's the value add that helps change someone's world? And start talking about that. When you start talking about that, people can start to see that you have a really clear solution to their pain point. And the thing is, for most, we talk about the result that we're going to get. We talk about the end thing. We talk about what we do. And it's all really logical and analytical. And that's fine. But come back to just simply, if I'm going to pay you, what value do you add to my world? Are you really clear on that? Are you really clear on what your business does, how your business helps change other people's lives? Now, internally, you probably are, or that's evolving and it'll probably always continue to evolve. But if that's something that you're not really clear on, then it makes it really hard for you to get into growth. It makes it really hard to be able to go through and continuously transition into being a really successful business owner. So leave me a comment below. What value do you add? How do you help people? What is it you actually do where someone is going to pay you simply because the value you add that changes their life? Love to hear. Whichever platform you happen to be watching this on, leave me a comment below. What value do you add? Like, it's part of foundations. You can't grow. There's no point working out how am I going to attract people. There's no point working out how am I going to bring on new clients. There's no point getting into contribution and legacy and the impact you're going to make until you have foundations right. And a lot of the foundations start simply with you understanding what value you add. And I guarantee whatever you think it is, I'm happy to continue the conversation whichever platform you're on and the comment you make below. The value you think you add, it won't be. Your thinking will be either too small or not quite in the right direction. So really just go, what is the value that you really add that ensures that someone wants to pay you and be your client? Okay, team, that's all I wanted to jump on and talk about this morning. I think it's something which, again, we get wrong. And we get wrong because we see so many things around, well, you need a funnel, and you need a next webinar, and you need to be doing ads, and you need to be constantly talking to people. And that's all great. But if you ain't super clear on the value you add, how you actually change someone's life, then none of those things matter because your messaging won't be right. Make sure you stay tuned. I've got a couple of other things coming up in the next week in terms of just simply how does this play out? Because in the end, to me, there are sort of 9 key areas, and value add just happens to be one of them. But it comes down to just simply going, get our foundations right. Now we can focus on growing our business. And then most importantly, it's about the legacy you want to leave. And if you're not thinking about that, hey, eventually your business will become boring. I don't care how much money you're making, because internally you don't have a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose and a reason why and the impact you want to make, then in the end, one day you're just going to get sick of it. You might not see that day coming, but that's what happens. There are so many billionaires I can give examples of that just go, you know what, I've had enough of business. It's not because they don't have a great business and a great life, simply because inside the purpose, the why, the impact has gone. They've lost sight of that. So it becomes part of the overall arching structure. Get your foundations right. And your foundations, not just the foundations for your business, the foundations for you. What's your inner game like? See, all of those things allow you to be able to have a great business that can make an impact for others. So one little thing that I'll just finish off on. We're starting a really, it lights me up and excites me. A simple little movement. And very soon you'll start seeing this hashtag, PC Partnership Club Impact. stay tuned. I'm not going to reveal any more. It'll come in due course, but the movement is underway. Okay, guys, that's it from me. Have an amazing weekend wherever you happen to be in the world. I'll catch you next week. Take care, all.